I'm very happy to have you here today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our program with Macquarie University, and I'm happy to answer your questions also. And we also have Matt who you can see. Hi, Matt.
Hi, everybody.
Wave in this direction. We have Matt from Australia. Matt is the representative of Macquarie University in Thailand, and he is currently based in Australia, so he's kind enough to join us from Australia, and he'll talk to us a little bit about Macquarie University and also give us some introduction to the program as well. So what we try to do today is I will talk to you a bit about the program in general, and because you're new to CMMU, I will also talk a little bit about CMMU, and then I'll ask Matt to talk about Macquarie University and the experience of studying in Australia, and then in the end you will also have opportunity to ask questions and let us know if there's anything else that we can do for you. So the session is about our dual degree, and what it means is that you will have a Master of Management from CMMU in Thailand, and you will have a Master of Commerce or Master of Management, Master of Finance, or Master of Marketing, depending on what you choose, from Macquarie University in Australia. And the idea is that you have a chance to study 3 terms here at CMMU, and then have another 2 terms or 1 year that you study at Macquarie University in Australia. And so that's the package. So the idea is you start with CMMU first, you get a Master of Management from CMMU, and you study here basically for 1 year. So at CMMU we have 3 terms per year, and so you study 3 terms in 1 year, and then once you finish your degree, your 3 terms here, you go to Macquarie and study for another 1 year. And the sequence is, at CMMU we start the term in January, we start another term in May, and we start another term in September. And so you can start anytime. You can start in January or in May or in September. And then depending on when you're done with our part, you go to Macquarie University and you have 2 options. You can go there in February and start in February, or you can go there in July and then start your studies in July as well. And the study fees is a combination of what you have to pay at CMMU and a part that you have to pay at Macquarie University. So the study fee at CMMU is 429,000 baht, and the study fee at Macquarie University, the discount fee, the final total that you would have to pay is approximately 29,000 Australian dollars. And this already includes a scholarship of approximately $15,000. So it means that the study fee in Australia would be higher for this 1 year, but Macquarie University has a scholarship scheme for all of our students. So it means if you apply through us, you will automatically get a scholarship. So it will automatically be applied to all the students that came from us. So the total, if you calculate that in Thai baht, the total is approximately 1.1 million baht for everything together. And just to tell you a little bit more about, depending on what you're interested in, you may be able to choose the specialization that is the best for you. So if you're interested in studying entrepreneurship, you can study entrepreneurship with us, and then get a Master of Commerce in Business and Organization from Macquarie University. So there's a sequence that we link the courses and we match the courses, and so you have this option if you want to study entrepreneurship. If you want to study marketing, you study marketing with us as a specialization, and then you go to Macquarie and you get either a Master of Commerce in Marketing or a Master in Marketing. And again, we have a study sequence for each of those options, so we can, if you're interested, we'll give you the details later, exactly which courses you need to study for which option. If you're interested in the general management option, you study general management with us, and then you go to Macquarie and you have a choice of getting a degree in Master of Commerce in Business Management and Organizations, or another Master in Management. And the last option is for finance students. If you're interested in studying corporate finance, you start with us in corporate finance, and then you go to Macquarie and you get another degree in Master of Commerce in Finance or Master of Finance. So that's the idea. And depending on what you choose to study with us, it will determine what is the sequence that you can study at Macquarie University. To give you a bit more detail about us, for those of you who are not yet our students, and I will introduce Mahidol University, and then Matt later on will introduce Macquarie University, so you have the picture from both sides. So for Mahidol University, we are consistently ranked as #1 in Thailand in different university rankings. And the good news is also that we have, for our management program here, we have this accreditation, which is called AACSB accreditation, which means that we are among top 5% of business schools in the world. And CMMU is accredited by this organization, and the Macquarie programs are also accredited by this organization. So it means that everybody has the very high level of international standard, which is a good sign of quality for once you have achieved a degree and you apply for a job, you can say that both institutions were internationally accredited, which adds more credibility to your degree. In terms of our Master of Management program, we have different options. And here I'm only listing the options that are relevant for the dual degree. So you basically study with us in a Master of Management program, and you then choose your specialization. And specialization for us could be entrepreneurship management, corporate finance, marketing, or general management. And you can choose whether you want to do the whole degree here, or you only do the first part of your degree here, and then you do the second part of the degree at Macquarie University, and you get a second degree. So in terms of study time, basically you spend half your study time with us and half your study time in Australia, and in the end you get 1 degree from us and 1 degree from Australia. But if you choose to do the whole studies here, then in the end you get 1 degree from us, and the Macquarie part is an optional part, but it's what we recommend, because in the end you save in terms of study time. You only have the same amount of study time, but you get a second degree in the end. So that's the idea with the dual degree. And just to give you an overview, what you would do at CMMU is you would study with us your 7 core courses. And the core courses, as the name already says, they are courses that every student from every specialization would take. And then, so those core courses cover people management, managing business information, Asian economy. We have a core course in finance, a core course in marketing, a core course in strategic management, and another one in decision skills. So those are all the core courses. And then we have specialization courses. And from those specialization courses, you take 2 courses here at CMMU, and the rest of the specialization courses you will take at Macquarie University. And the way we handle this is the courses that you take at Macquarie University, we transfer the credits back to count for your CMMU degree, so that in the end, you get our full degree, even though you studied part of the time in Australia. So one more thing that you need to do when you return is that we have one requirement which is called thematic paper, which means you have to have a final paper that you defend at CMMU. And in order not to duplicate your work, you can actually use one of the papers that you have to do for one of the courses at Macquarie University, and you use that paper and defend at CMMU as your final paper, and that will be your graduation requirement. So it means you study here, you go study in Australia, you come back and defend your final paper, and you're finished with both of those degrees. So that's the requirement. So we try to not create extra work for you, but you can use the work that you've already done and just defend it here at CMMU. So this is the idea for our program. And in terms of, just to give you a bit of overview of how do we teach and what is our specialty, at CMMU we are very much focused on problem-based learning. Problem-based learning means we want learning to be practical and applied and helping you to solve real-world problems. So we don't want to teach you marketing theory and then you have no idea what to do with that, or we don't want to teach you people management theory and then in the end you cannot manage people. But we actually want to teach you the theory but help you, using the theory to apply it to solve real-world problems. So that's the focus of problem-based learning. We often take examples from companies, bring them into the classroom, and then try to solve those problems of the company in our classes. We also use business projects. We work with a lot of guest speakers from industry so that you also get the perspective of the practitioner in the class as well. We have company visits when COVID allows. We have company visits and get you to actually see companies and talk to managers and see real business settings. And then in addition, we also offer a lot of skill seminars. So skill seminars could be short seminars that you want, for example, to update your leadership skills, or you want to focus on your business planning skills, or you want to have design thinking skills. Those kind of short seminars we offer in addition to your regular studies. Those usually are free of charge and you just take them extra in your area of interest, just so we keep you up to date and you can choose topics that you're particularly interested in. And we also focus very much on making the study environment lively, so we have lots of projects and interaction among students as well so that people can learn from each other. So that's the idea for studying at CMMU. And just for your information, I don't think anybody here might be interested in that, but just so that you know, we also have a co-total PhD program with Macquarie University. So after you finish your master and you want to go on for a PhD program, you can enroll in a PhD program here and then get a second supervisor from Macquarie University. So you will have one PhD supervisor here, one at Macquarie, and in the end you write one paper and defend the paper at two different universities, and again get 2 degrees in the end. So in the future, if you want to come back for a PhD, this is an option for you as well. That's it from my side. Matt, thank you so much for being here with us. Really nice to have you here. And thank you for spending your Saturday evening with us, because it's already evening in Australia. Thank you. I'll hand over to you and I'll let you talk a little bit about your programs and the opportunities that await our students in Australia.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Astrid. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I'm coming through. Can you hear me, Astrid?
Very good. Everything good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great to hear. So hello, everybody. My name is Matt Monkhouse. I'm Director for Southeast Asia here at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. I am in Sydney at the moment, so a big warm welcome. And as Astrid said, it is around nearly 4:45 here, nearly 5 p.m. here in Sydney, and a wonderful weekend. And I'm missing my travel to Thailand. I do spend a considerable amount of time in Thailand, so I can't wait to get back up and see you all in person. But this is fantastic. Thank you for organising, Astrid. Delighted to be able to come in today to talk to our students and talk about opportunities to study at Mahidol and also Macquarie University. We're so proud to be working with Mahidol University, one of the best universities, not just in Thailand, but actually in the world. So it's very, it's wonderful to see our partnership continue to develop. Now, I might share my screen a little bit, if that's okay. So just let me know if hopefully this all comes up okay. Can everybody see that? Presentation is okay?
Yes, we can see.
Wonderful, wonderful, great. So I thought I would take the opportunity to run through a little bit about study in Australia, because obviously you are all there today. You're interested in studying not only at Mahidol University, but looking to perhaps study overseas, and we have some great options for you. So I'll talk a little bit about study overseas, study in Australia, Sydney, and Macquarie University, and then I'm sure we'll have a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. So just to start, I thought obviously COVID is, it's hard to get through any presentation or any talk without mentioning COVID, but I just thought I'd touch on what's happening here in Australia for those interested. we are doing very well. We've had very few COVID cases overall, particularly in the last 1 to 2 months. You know, there's been little. I don't think we've had a single COVID case for around 55 days here in Australia, which has been wonderful. Just some cases from returning travellers who are being quarantined, but in general through the community, very little COVID, and we haven't had a COVID death in 2021 yet. So things are going very well, and as you can see, the numbers here are incredibly low. But the trade-off is, unfortunately, it means the borders are closed. So it's very difficult for anyone to enter Australia or for anyone to leave Australia. But of course, for you here today who are just commencing your studies, we would expect borders to be open into 2022. So of course, we'll monitor the situation, but we would expect students to be able to start coming back, our current students back to campus towards the end of this year, with borders open into 2022. So it's a very good timing for you who are just looking now and working out your study plans, particularly, obviously, if you're going to start at Macquarie University for the first year of our joint program. That would work very well. But at this time, we are teaching and we've moved everything online. Our academics have done an incredible job. So we do have options to commence immediately online until borders open. But as I said, I won't talk about that too much because I think for all of us here today, we'd be expecting to come to campus with borders open at least at the end of this year or into 2022. But we, of course, use a lot of high technology, and our students who are currently online are having a good experience. Of course, we can't wait to have them back to campus. But, you know, this sort of, I guess, development to fully online has gone very well. And I think once we return to normal, we will still continue to have some sort of a hybrid model with all our lectures still available to be accessed through our eStudent platform and things like that. So there'll be some things that we'll certainly keep, but we definitely look forward to welcoming all our students back onto campus. Here at the moment on campus, all our students are returned, but we just have to wait for the Australian government to open the borders, and we look forward to welcoming all our international students back. So a little bit about also study in Australia and Sydney, of course. You're all here today because obviously looking at your study options. So if you are thinking about an overseas experience, my only advice would be definitely do it. We have some great opportunities that we're going to talk to you about today to study in Australia at Macquarie. But if you are looking at some other options, of course, the College of Management, Mahidol, they have some great partnerships globally. So my advice would be definitely just do it. Have that overseas experience if you can. And of course, we would love to see you come to Macquarie University. But in the reasons of why study overseas, of course, I've got this up, you know, to build your international experience, that old one of broaden your horizon, which is actually very, very true. Build your communication skills. I think all of you here today speak good English, but of course, being fully immersed in an English-speaking environment can only help you to improve those communication skills. Building friends, contacts, networks from all around the world, becoming more independent. Very attractive to employers because, of course, when you finish your study at university, it's all about getting that job. That, of course, is one of the main reasons you're studying at university, is to get that dream career. Having an international experience looks absolutely fantastic on your resume and does help to put you in front, you know, in that competitive environment of getting that dream job. So very, very important there. Hopefully some of you may have been to Australia already, but if you haven't, Macquarie University, we are here in Sydney. And Australia as a destination for international students, we've been welcoming international students for many, many years. And we are one of the largest destinations for international students. Around 750,000 international students currently studying in Australia. So it's something we've been doing for a long time, and we do very, very well, not only through safety, and of course, Australia is a nice place to be, through having quality universities, quality institutions, highly ranked institutions, all sort of protections for our international students, support services as well, and I'll cover a few of those. But then, in addition to Australia, you've got the option to study with us here in Sydney, consistently ranked as one of the best cities in the world. For anyone who has been to Sydney, I'm sure you would agree with me that it's an absolutely beautiful city. And of course, it's always up there as one of the most livable cities on any ranking of any particular year, on safety, strong economy, very low unemployment. And I would say Sydney really is the corporate commercial capital of Australia. So it is where you'll find, a lot of the larger organisations, the headquarters of these multinationals for Asia Pacific, Oceania, whatever it may be, generally here in Sydney as well. So lots of opportunities for, positions upon graduation and all that sort of thing as well. And then the Australian advantage, as I mentioned, lots of reasons, including weather, highly ranked universities. We covered on safety, the ability to work part-time while you study, post-study work, stay-back opportunities as well, that world-class and highly regulated education environment. And of course, we're always ranked up there as one of the most livable international student destinations. So a little bit about Macquarie University then. So Macquarie University, we are in an area of Sydney called Macquarie Park or North Ryde, beautiful part of Sydney. And as you can see from our campus, we have a 126 hectare campus, open spaces, a nice mix between that beautiful green environment with very modern infrastructure. And I've got some images I'll show you as well of that. But one of the really strategic things for Macquarie University is we sit right in the center of the largest tech park or business park, corporate park, not just in Sydney, not just Australia, but actually the Southern Hemisphere. We have 300 companies, many of those multinationals. It's about 150 multinationals in there. Things like Singtel, Optus, British Aerospace, Google, Microsoft, Fujitsu, Panasonic, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, all within this tech park. So this is good not only for the university, for R&D and collaboration, but for our students, because we do internships, practical experience in all of our degrees, okay? Opportunities then also for graduate positions. And we sit in an absolutely beautiful part of Sydney, but one of the great things is we're actually the only university in Australia to have our own metro or train station. So underneath the campus, a subway, we have Macquarie University Station. So that means you can obviously live here on campus, and I've got some information on accommodation, and that way you can get anywhere across Sydney. Sydney has a very good and expansive public transportation network, and having Macquarie sit on that network means you can go anywhere across Sydney very easily. Or if you're living away from campus, you may have family or friends somewhere outside of our campus area. It means you can get back to campus each day very easy. And I catch the train to work every day. It's just so convenient. The university itself, Macquarie, we are in the top 1% of universities globally. That puts us in the top 200 universities globally on Times Higher QS rankings. We're very proud of our ranking of #1 graduate for employment rate. So in Australia, #1 for graduate employment rate, meaning our students get jobs, and we put a lot of work into ensuring that, and I'll cover a little bit of that also. 11 subject areas ranked at the top 100 in the world, including our finance and accounting and management areas as well, and I'm going to cover that through the presentation. Infrastructure, I mentioned we have an incredible campus. We have just spent around 1 billion Australian dollars in infrastructure development. Our new campus hub corporate or central courtyard has just opened, and it is absolutely amazing. Absolutely beautiful environment. So we've got some new images coming, which we will share with you. It's only opened about 2 weeks ago, so this is brand new, and it's absolutely amazing. It's a very beautiful place here on campus. I'm just going to show a small should come through okay. I know with Zoom, sometimes the sound can be a bit of a lag. So as you can see from that, highlights a little bit of the campus. We also have an incubator on campus where we encourage our students to nurture their new ideas through. So whilst today we are focusing on business, finance, marketing and management in particular, we are a fully comprehensive research intensive university. So we essentially are covering all study areas as well. We are internationally, of course, recognised for teaching and research excellence. We have around 40,000 students in total here on campus, around 11,000 international students from 120 different nationalities. So incredibly culturally diverse campus as well. So looking at a few of the study areas, I should mention, we do have our own English language college on campus for any students coming into the program who may need to do a little bit of extra English before coming through. But in general, for our CMMU joint program, students can come through with a letter that does say that the instruction was in English if you've been taught in English at Mahidol. So study work is changing rapidly. So things like our degrees brand new for 2021. So they're simplified curriculum, flexible in nature, real world, lots of practicality built in. You can essentially personalize them, tailor them to suit the areas that you're interested in for your career development or areas of study. So of course, the programs today through the Macquarie Business School. I'm also just going to play a short video that just highlights our Macquarie Business School.
If you take a look at society, you'll notice something.
It's being shaped by business leaders.
They are not just changing an industry.
They're changing the world.
Improving the way we work and live.
That's my mission.
That's what I want to achieve.
Macquarie Business School isn't your typical business school. We do things a little differently. We're rewriting the rules of business education and research. It's why we've broken down the walls between disciplines. In doing so, we've brought a number of unique minds together, from economists rethinking health policy, to our finance and science departments banding together to create breakthroughs in clean energy.
Revolutionary technology gives me everything I need
to solve real-world problems in real time.
Whether it's mentors or peers or industry leaders,
I'm surrounded with people who want me to succeed.
Giving me connections, knowledge and support that will last a lifetime.
I get to learn how some of the world's biggest companies solve some of the world's toughest challenges.
Here at Macquarie Business School, we're very fortunate to be located next to hundreds of companies, some of the most innovative and dynamic companies in global business.
From knowledge
to resource
to connections.
I'm not just learning to lead a business.
I am learning to lead the change I want to see.
Work they're doing in the business school. Now, with the programs, we spoke about ranking and accreditation. So essentially with the programs, we also have that AACSB accreditation at the Macquarie Business School, which is a very important accreditation and does identify both our business schools or our colleges as being in that upper echelon, which is fantastic. Our programs ranked very highly. Our Masters in Finance is top 50 in the world, actually number 2 in Australia. Our Master of Management is number 2 in Australia, top 50 in the world. And we actually, for a Masters of Marketing, Masters of Commerce Marketing, actually number 1 in Australia, also top 50 in the world. So again, as subject discipline and actual program disciplines within QS, very highly ranked programs indeed. So looking at the options that we have essentially for yourself, as Astrid has kindly run through, so I won't spend too much time on this. We do have those areas where you can very neatly do 1 year in Thailand, 1 year in Australia, 1 year at Mahidol University, 1 year at Macquarie University, and complete and pick up 2 degrees, which again is fantastic for your employment to have those 2 degrees to show that you've studied in one of the best business schools in Thailand and one of the best business schools in Australia. And as we said, with that scholarship attached, it brings the tuition fee down to approximately $29,000 for each program for that year tuition. And there's some other the rankings as well there. So number 2 in Australia for the Masters in Management, and first in the world for, first in Australia, not yet first in the world for marketing and also finance. So that's very important rankings for each of those key programs that you can articulate in. We also mentioned research. We are very much a research intensive university. So if you're looking at PhD, we do have that PhD or co-tutel scholarship program as well. And there's some fantastic scholarships attached to that if you're eligible for PhD at this stage. Looking at scholarships as well, we have what's called our ASEAN Scholarship. So all students from Macquarie University will immediately pick up this $10,000 per year scholarship. And it's for duration of studies, but for this program, of course, 1 year, 10,000 immediately taken off tuition fees. We do also have a few other scholarships that we would definitely encourage our students to apply for. That is the Southeast Asian Women in Management and Finance Scholarship. So if you are female, studying any of the programs that we have there, essentially with management and finance, you'll be eligible for that $15,000 scholarship. And we have an ASEAN Partner Scholarship, which is exclusive for Mahidol students. So if you're doing our 1+1 program, again, you can pick up that $15,000 per year scholarship for your program, okay? So really important information there. And $15,000 for your scholarship, that is pretty much a 50%, close enough to a 50% tuition scholarship for that program, which is wonderful. Then just to finish off, employability. So this is a really key thing that we're doing here at Macquarie, hence our ranking for #1 in that graduate employment rate. So things like professional development programs, so built into your degree structure, okay? So when you're studying 8 units here, when you come across, very much opportunities for practical experience, internship, business projects, but then also extracurricular, okay? So outside of just your area of study, there's so many opportunities here at Macquarie University. We have the student success strategic framework built in where we will guide you and assist you through our careers and employment division, things like being able to access the global leadership program, wonderful opportunity to continue to develop your skills through career services events on campus. There's so much to do, there really is. As you can imagine, being a university with 40,000 students, 11,000 international, it's an absolute hub or hive of activity here. And then connected with industry, we really do have those deep connections with industry. So very important that we make sure our students get access to those as well. And then things like accommodation, general support. We have lots of accommodation here on campus, all around our campus, and actually in the center of campus, lots of options for accommodation, clubs, societies. We have a Thai student society very active here on campus. But again, in general, just whether it's sports or any other hobby or volunteer program, anything it may be that you're interested in, I'm sure you will find it here on campus. It's an incredibly vibrant student community group here doing all sorts of things. And then student support in general, of course, when you arrive, we will come and pick you up from the airport, we'll help you find accommodation, lots of academic or other assistance available support on campus. So plenty of things to do there, and all through your orientation week, you're immediately connected to all these areas as well. So it's obviously a fantastic experience. You're here to study, and of course that's really important, that academic side, but you want to immerse yourself in the Australian culture, the Australian lifestyle, and enjoy everything that that has to offer outside of your academic study. So I will finish up there and I'll stop sharing. And happy to go through any questions. Astrid, however you'd like to manage it.
Thank you so much, Matt. Really very interesting. This is the time for you to ask questions. Any questions that anybody has, either to me or to Matt, please feel free to ask me now. And I'll repeat your question for Matt.
I know sometimes it's hard to get some questions, but I would also just say to our prospective students, Astrid, that I'm happy to pass my email address, and of course they have you there to talk to. So if you'd want to chat one-on-one at all, I'm happy to chat, or if you'd like to follow up with some more information, we can do that. Yep. And we have study plans in place and everything, so lots of information available for you.
That's great. Tell me, what questions do you have? Okay, so your question were about the thesis plan of this program, but this program is actually a program that focuses on coursework, not on thesis. Yeah. Yeah, so that you will do in the end. So of course, if you wanted to do a thesis, you could also enroll in a thesis, but it would mean extra work because you would need to still cover all the coursework that is required at Macquarie University to complete your degree there. What you could do is do the thesis in addition, but it would mean extra work. How about others? What questions do you have? Yes? Okay, the question is there a chance for a student to work full-time after finishing a degree?
Good question. Yes, there is. But what that would mean is a little bit different. So the current program that we have that we're talking about today is essentially the 1+1. Now, there's two things that you need to look at there. Is the first, I'd say, is whilst you're studying in Australia, you can work part-time. So you can work part-time in any program for up to 20 hours per week, 40 hours a fortnight is the actual thing. So you can work part-time. Now, for working full-time and a stay-back period, what you generally need to do is study a degree that is 2 years in duration. So whilst our current degree we're talking about today is 1+1, we can look at options where it could be a 1+2. So if you wanted to stay in Australia and do some extra studies, we have some double degree options, which means the bottom line is if you want to get post-study work, you need to study 2 years in Australia. So that immediately gives you, that's the requirements. You study a 2-year degree, then you're eligible for a 2-year post-study work stay back. So we can make that happen, but you'd have to study 2 years in Australia. So it'd have to be the 1 year in Thailand and then the 2 years here.
And you said students are eligible to work during their studies in Australia?
Yeah, so part-time, they can work. But for the post-study work, which means that you get when you complete your program, you get a guaranteed 2-year stay back. You have to spend 2 years studying in Australia.
So you can either work part-time while you're studying, or you can spend 2 years studying in Australia, and then you get automatically 2 years of work opportunity that you can stay for two more years. Yeah. Very good. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? Please tell me what you always wanted to know. Anything we can do to support? Yes, okay, good question. English language test. So the requirement for Macquarie University is an IELTS test with 6.5. So the IELTS result 6.5 or equivalent in another test result, that's okay. At CMMU, the requirement is a bit lower, so you can enter CMMU, but in order to go to Macquarie University, you need to demonstrate to us that you have equivalent of IELTS 6.5 or whatever is the equivalent TOEFL score. So Macquarie University will trust us that we send good students to them, but we need to check your English to make sure that you fulfill the requirements. But you can enter CMMU on a lower test score. Just by the time you go to Australia, you need to reach the 6.5 IELTS level. And we also have a requirement inside CMMU that for the courses you take at CMMU, we would like you to maintain a grade point average of 3.5, which means that your grades here should be good, so that we can be sure that you will be a good student when you go to Australia. We have to make sure that we only send our best students to Australia because we want to make sure that they also pass both degrees in Thailand and Australia. So we need to have a bit of a quality selection. So what you normally do is you study with us for 3 terms first, and then you make the decision more or less by the end of the second term, you make a decision whether you want to continue after your 3rd term in Australia, and then we can prepare all the documents and everything and send you to Australia. So you can start studying with us first, and think about it. And then at the end of your second term, I would recommend you make a decision. And you also need to inform us that you want to study at Macquarie University, because we have a certain, when we did the course plan, we have a certain course sequence that courses you need to take here, and then courses you need to take at Macquarie University. And because we don't offer every course every term, we need to know that you want to go to Macquarie University, so that in the time that you spend with us, we can make sure that you take all the courses that you actually need to take before you go to Australia. So it's not automatically that after 3 terms when you study with us, you automatically go to Australia, but we need to actually check that you took the required courses with us before you go to Australia. So that's the idea. Any question? Okay, good question. The class sessions at Macquarie University, are they full-time, Monday to Friday, daytime, or what's the timing of the classes, Matt?
Very good question. So essentially how it kind of works here in Australia, most Australian universities and also here at Macquarie, is essentially you would usually do around 3 hours per week per subject. So if you're doing 4 subjects is an equivalent full-time study load. So normally here in Australia you would do 2 semesters per year, and for this 1-year program, 2 semesters only, and 4 subjects per semester, 8 subjects in total. So each semester, when you're undertaking those 4 subjects, you would generally say 3 hours what we call contact time. So 3 hours per subject basically on campus. So you're looking at up to 12 hours per week, only what we call contact time. That 12 hours is quite flexible. So there'll be opportunities to choose lectures at different times through the day, in the evenings, the same with tutorials, because normally you'll do a 2-hour lecture and a 1-hour tutorial per subject. So there's flexibility there. The other thing is, of course, whilst we encourage our students and they should be going to their lectures, all our lectures are recorded. So you can access everything through your eStudent platform, because every single lecture is recorded. So if you do miss a lecture, there was a clash for something, you can watch them back in your own time.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? Anything anyone would like to know? Yes, please.
If in BBA we graduated from international university, we still need to use the IELTS score to confirm about that.
Which university did you, a Thai university or international university?
For me, is Stanford International University in Thailand.
Here
yes.
in Thailand. So for us, Mahidol University, we're currently introducing new rules that say you need to have a degree from an English-speaking country in order to be able to exempt your English. So that means if you study in Thailand in an English language program, it would not help. You would still need an English language test in order to enter CMMU. And as Matt said earlier, Macquarie University will accept students from us if they studied in an English language program before, but in order to enter CMMU, you would need to either study in an English language country or do a test. That's the idea.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone? Yes?
Paper or thesis? Do we have to come back and finish it?
So for the paper, there is a course at Macquarie University that is it's called something like contemporary issues in management or whatever. So you discuss real life business problems as part of a class, and you have to write a paper in that class. And in order to make it smooth for you in terms of the transition, we would say use the same paper and develop it into a thematic paper and present the same paper here at CMMU. So what you need to do is basically just come back, discuss with one advisor. This could be a faculty member if your paper is more about a marketing topic or your paper is more about a finance topic. You find a faculty member here in that area. That faculty member helps you to kind of finalize the paper, and then you present the paper here, and that's it. So use the same work that you kind of like start your work in Australia, finish the paper here with your advisor, present the paper, and then you're done. Macquarie University doesn't have a paper presentation requirement, so you just need to present it for us. Yeah. I would say thank you so much, Matt, for joining us, and really appreciate. Let's give Matt an applause. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Astrid. I'm really so happy to be able to zoom in and to be able to connect. And it's wonderful to be here in Sydney and to be able to talking to all our wonderful friends in Thailand. And I hope everyone stays safe. Good luck under the current challenging conditions with COVID. Fingers crossed as vaccines and things start to roll out, we'll get back to some normality very, very soon. And as, again, Astrid, as you said, I'm happy to chat with anybody. And thank you so much for organising, and what a wonderful day.
Very happy to do that, and thank you, Matt, for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.